I had a question, which is about how many people have trained or are training in JKD in the U.S.?
Instructors or students? Or?
Students, practitioners, and just a general number of how many people we might have in this country that have come in contact with this style, considering the popularity of Bruce Lee over so many years and the fact that he's been gone now some close to 10 years, and yet he's still a household word to just about every martial artist in the country.
Well, usually you'll get a style that is very progressive, and for example, Taekwondo. I mean, there's Taekwondo schools all over the place. You won't find Jeet Kune Do schools all over the place because the nature of the training of JKD is different. It has to adapt to each individual. So you have to have a good instructor, and then he has to adapt to the class, and it's not in a structured format. So therefore, we've only got a few individuals that can teach Jeet Kune Do, so you won't find a chain of schools anywhere. There's only actually 3 schools currently teaching the art in the whole world.
Okay, now I know that yours is located in California. Could you tell us where it is and how we would get in touch with you?
Well, I teach in Long Beach, California, and we have a gym there. And to get in touch with me, my phone number is 439-2805.
What this drill is it's called sombrado, and it's a counter-for-counter flow. There's no pattern to it. This is purely freelancing. Okay, ready? Salute. And go. Okay, go.
We've read in many magazines how Jeet Kune Do and Kali complement each other, and many of these articles make reference to Dan Inosanto. How would you compare your skills to Dan Inosanto's?
It's sort of like comparing apples and oranges. I'll just say the analogy would be if Dan's here, I'm here. And that's the best way I could state that. Dan is just in his own field. He's out there all by himself.
Okay, now in terms of these writings about how Jeet Kune Do and Kali complement each other, how do we explain that? Is that partly to do with Bruce Lee's background in the...
Well, what you have is Dan started training with Bruce back in '64, and he saw Bruce was quite a different individual. He had attributes that were way out there, like a Bruce Jenner will say. And Dan figured out that for anyone to get that good, it's going to take a different method of training. Bruce was a natural. His speed, his power, his timing was just 1 in a million. So what Dan discovered was, along with training with Bruce, he was also training with Filipino masters, and he saw a lot of the same characteristics. So he saw that the weapons actually turbocharge your attributes to get you a lot quicker, a lot more powerful. Your timing is much better. So the blend of Kali, the weapons of Kali, help your attributes in JKD. And then vice versa. The JKD, we call economy of motion, which is a very important principle in JKD, which is keeping everything tight and structured and crisp. And that blends with the Kali. Some movements that are a little bit wide in Kali, we take the JKD mentality and tighten them up. So the two arts complement each other real well.
This next section is called single stick sparring. We're not going to make any contact because we don't have the equipment. They're just going to be out long range, and everything they'll be doing is responsive to the other person. They're not just arbitrarily spinning the stick out there, but they're being responsive to the opponent. Okay, you guys ready? Salute. And go.
train with a lot of different weapons in Kali and JKD and progressive fighting systems. Could you tell us a little bit about some of these weapons? The one we saw, that large, strangely shaped sword.
Yeah, this is a Chris. This is a large Chris. There's many different variations of shapes to it. We train with basically 12 different weapons. You've got your flexible weapons, you have your staff, your double stick, your single stick, your long and short, your single dagger, your double dagger, your palm stick. It's basically to conform with anything you can pick up in the street. Pool cue might stand for a staff, a palm stick could be a rock, a long and short could be a Coke bottle or an antenna off a car. You know, so basically we've got all 12 weapons and applicable to anything in the street.
Now I have here what we've been looking at primarily were the practice sticks for Kali. Could you tell me what this stick is made out of and what sets it apart from the bamboo?
Iron bark. I believe this is the only wood that doesn't float. This actually sinks. It's very hard wood. And back in the Philippines, they would actually fight with iron bark against swords, and this would come out a lot. Breaking the sword, actually. I think it's about the hardest wood known to man, to my knowledge.
In some of the Japanese style, the Jodo stick style, which is a stick style that was developed to fight the samurai sword, I guess you would consider this the stick that was made to counter the saber that was used in the Philippines.
Definitely.
This next drill we call Panantukan and Pananjakan, which is Filipino kickboxing. We're going to be implementing different ranges, and we may put in a little Thai boxing. Okay, you guys ready? Salute.